terrific. Oh!
Wrote it down and read it out, hoping it would save me. Too many times. My love, he makes it feel like nobody else. But my love, he doesn't love me, so I tell myself, one, don't pick up the phone. You know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone. Two, don't let him in. You have to kick him out again. Three, don't be a strange. You know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting nowhere.
Nice ball from Neymar, taken on here by Coutinho. What a goal!
I keep pushing forwards, but he keeps pulling me backwards. Nowhere to turn. No, now I'm standing back from it. I finally see the pattern. I've never loved. He doesn't love me, so I tell myself, I do. One, don't pick up the phone. You know he's only calling cause he's drunk and alone. Two, don't let him in. You have to kick him out again. Three, don't be a strange. You know you're gonna wake up in his bed in the morning. And if you're under him, you ain't getting nowhere.
Germany, deserved champions of the world.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the International Break Podcast. I'm your host, Stefano, joining me alongside Biagio Alversano. Biagio, how are you tonight?
Very, very good.
Biagio, we've had a wild day 2 of the World Cup. Came to you the last few days. Some upsets. What did you say upsets this time around, Biagio?
Yes, lots of upsets. I mean, after this match day 2, we're finally gonna. There's some groups that it's gonna come down to the last game, or there's some groups that their journey has been over, even though there's still a game left for them to play.
Mm-hmm. So we go to the first group, Group A.
Yeah.
I know we mentioned in our last podcast the way it went down. Russia victorious against Egypt. And obviously Uruguay victorious against Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Biagio, we go into that last game. I think I'm leaning towards Russia over Uruguay. I think Uruguay struggled over the last 2 games, and I think that Russia looked a lot better.
Yeah.
What do you
Looked
think?
much better.
I think Russia tops the group tomorrow.
I think they can top the group. Looking at this game, Egypt and Saudi Arabia, if we take a look at that just quickly, Egypt and Saudi Arabia both playing for pride now, just looking for the 3 points just to see what happens. For Russia, Uruguay, I think it won't be that much of a action-packed game. It won't be like this was the opening game between Russia and Uruguay, it would be a crazy game. But now that they both know that they're through no matter what, I think they'll rest their star players, maybe put their reserves or their players that need they can give playing time to and give some caps. So I think it'll be much more of a calmer game, since they both know no matter what happens, no matter what the scoreline is between the two sides. I think they're both through. So. They're gonna take it lightly. I think that's what's gonna happen.
Who do you think tops the group, Biagio?
Right now, like I said, I think it'll be a light game. So maybe I feel it'll end like a 1-1 draw. So Russia's obviously gonna top the group, but maybe there is a slight chance that they might, Uruguay might go all out for this game, because look, they are through, but it depends who they want to play against.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
It all depends on how the Group B ends up going. So yeah.
So that group looks like it's set in stone pretty much, and who's going through. You go to the next group, Biagio. Pardon me, some technical difficulties. We go to the next
No
group:
problem.
Spain, Portugal, Iran. Iran still, sniffing around that second place
They
spot.
still have a chance, yeah. They still have a
Yeah,
chance.
it's not over yet. Spain victorious against Iran, obviously last week, as well as Portugal.
Yeah.
Biaj, what do you see happening? Does Iran have any chance at all come tomorrow afternoon?
Uh, at first, I thought this was gonna be, the two European sides easily going through, but now Portugal, they can't take this game lightly, no matter how they feel how like Iran have played in the first two matches. They need to go all out. A tie or a win for Portugal sees them through to the knockout stage. Iran need a win to advance. Also, Spain depends how they do against Morocco. Honestly, Spain, I don't think they deserve to win that game against Iran. I mean, Iran did play six in the back, which was crazy. They played so well, and then they got a
Yeah.
goal, and then they got disallowed because of VR. But I don't think it was offside. It was a bit of a scramble in the box, so I think it should have been allowed as a goal. Portugal and Morocco. Portugal come through with a 1-0 win. I wanted to get your opinion on. I don't know if you heard about the news. Apparently, the ref might has a chance of losing his job. The ref the game between Portugal and Morocco because apparently allegations against him asking for Ronaldo's jersey. People see it as a sign of favoritism. Did you hear about that? Or?
I did hear something about that, and you know what? It is. I would say maybe towards favoritism, like you said, but at the end of the day, it's the beautiful game, and he is one of the greatest to ever step on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Morocco. They actually outpossessed Portugal, and I was shocked at 54% to 46. I think they had more shots on goal too. So I didn't see the ref being a big part of the game, but Morocco was a pesky little side that you didn't count them out. And yeah, you know what? There's a lot of ifs, ands, or buts. In the World
They got
Cup
two
with
unlucky games. They got two
yeah,
unlucky
that's
games.
exactly what it was, right? Two goals, and they're 0-2, but they're a good little side. And yeah, it could be some match fixing and favoritism, but at the end of the day, they did get the win, and Morocco played a hell of a game, and I see Iran, possibly playing a decent game tomorrow.
Yeah. Going on to
Um,
Group C.
Group C, we have France, Denmark, Australia, Peru. Um, France on top of the group right now with 6 points. Denmark with 4. Australia sniffing that second spot with 1, and then Peru,
Because
another unlucky team. Biaj, what did you see play out in that division?
I know I said last episode, I said a team, like the World Cup isn't about, playing beautiful soccer all the time. Sometimes you might play bad and still get the points. And man, like France, two horrible games for
Yeah,
France, and they still are through to the knockout stage. There's teams that have played so much better in this tournament than France, and they still have to come down to the last wire. It's so shocking to me. France, I don't think they deserve at all to beat Peru. I was so shocked at what happened. So now France are through to the next round.
that's for sure.
I
Yeah,
believe they play Denmark in their last group game.
yep, that's what it looks like.
So here, maybe Didier Deschamps might take it lightly because they do have a chance of getting uh, their first place spot snatched. And it all depends on the coach, the manager, if he wants to. We want to win the group so we can play maybe the second place in the group that's under us, which contains Argentina, Croatia, Nigeria, and Iceland. But you can also have to decide to be like, okay, well, it doesn't really matter if we finish first or second, as long as we make it through. So maybe we want to rest some players. It depends on how he views it. Peru are out, so uh,
Mhm.
basically, I guess now they're just playing for pride. So most teams throughout the groups are playing like that. Denmark cannot take this game lightly, even if France is a strong team, and yes, Australia is playing Peru, who have been playing well, but they cannot take it lightly because if Denmark lose by 2 goals, because right now they're at +1 and Australia's at -1, if Australia can pull a 2-3 nil win over Peru, they could advance to the next round and It could be a shocking exit for the Danish. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what the situation is. I think Biag, we're going to see an upset in one of these groups.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know Iran plays Portugal. We have Australia, possibly going through if with a, like you mentioned, a win. You go to the other divisions, Iceland sniffing around, Argentina too. So, I think the last game is going to be huge for some teams, and I honestly don't see all the favorites going through. But like you said, the Danish have to come out strong. They did play sloppy the first game, picked it up the second game. Although they got a tie and Australia tied it with the penalty shot, which, like I mentioned in the last episode, Australia is a pesky team. I remember them in '06
Yeah.
against Italy. They, that Totti PK, or
Yeah, that
else,
was the
the
last minute.
Kangaroos are a tough side to play against.
Yeah.
But we go to Group D. Biag, a debacle, I would say, from Croatia over
Yeah.
Argentina, Nigeria victorious over Iceland. Biag, did you expect a 3-0 win over Argentina? That wasn't something I saw coming.
I saw Croatia for sure beating Argentina, but not this badly. But Argentina just got outplayed like very bad. The first goal, I don't know what the hell
Oh,
Cavallero
Willie,
was
what are you
thinking.
doing? What are you
I don't know.
doing?
He could have made a pass. I guess he tried to be fancy, tried to chip it over Rebic. Good reaction time from him to volley it. Then the second goal, I mean, Modric. That was
Yeah,
a,
it's world class,
beautiful goal.
Biag.
And
Yeah,
then that third goal, just
tic tac toe.
the third goal just sums up the whole attitude of Argentina throughout that whole game. Just
Mm-hmm.
the morale was so low, and people could say all they want. Is now that game basically also like it already after the first group after match day one, there was the debate of who's better this tournament, Ronaldo or Messi. Who's the goat, greatest of all time. And now this match day two doesn't help Messi's picture at all because people are just
Yeah,
you know
they're giving it
people.
to him.
I mean, I believe it's his birthday today.
Oh, okay.
But man, like this is not looking good for him. I've never seen him like play dirty like that. He did get fouled by Strinic, and then instead of helping him up, give him a little shove. Same thing for Otamendi. Had the ball, it was a foul against Argentina. He just tried to kick the ball almost at I think it was Rakitic's face. Like stuff like that, just it shows you can't let the frustration get out like that. And
Yeah.
that third goal with the sloppy defending. I mean, they just started passing it around and went around the keeper. They took their sweet time just to tap that one in and finish off the game.
Yeah.
And their attitude showed throughout the whole game. They did not want this match at all. They just couldn't finish, couldn't create, no matter how many subs went on.
I know, but Biaggi, I also have to blame the coach. Like, they had Dybala on the bench, right? You have Di Maria on the bench as well. Like,
and then
you
his excuse to the media was,
yeah,
I can't play
Dybala and
Messi.
Messi are
They're
similar
too
players.
similar.
Like, come
Yeah,
on.
that doesn't make any
Like,
sense to me.
that's what I said. You put a system into play with the players you have, right?
Yeah.
So if you have, three great center backs and you play a three in the back, you have three great forwards, you play a 4-3-3, you adapt to what you have as a country, right? And they have, the world's best finishers in Messi, Dybala up there too, Higuain, Higuaero. So, I mean, you got to adapt your system to the players you have.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it was a little bit of coaching like it was Ventura in the World Cup where one, and maybe Cardi could have made a difference on the squad. I couldn't tell you, but it's a little bit of both, coaching and the attitude of the players that, have really made a difference in this tournament. But Biag, I'm going to play a video right now. It's from Tim and Sid, which is a reporting station, the Sportsnet.
I think I know what episode you're talking about.
Yeah,
I was
and
watching
I'm
it.
just gonna play it. And I know you're from Montreal, so you don't really maybe hear this media from Toronto, but I just want to get your thoughts on this little clip here. Hold on one sec.
Okay. Yeah.
Messi. Here's the fraud element of Messi that no one wants to talk about. And I said fraud.
domestically, he's won everything there is to win at Barcelona. Yeah. And he started Barcelona, 13? Yeah. He's won everything there is to win. Here's how you know what Messi's about. When they were winning the best things at Barcelona, it's Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, David Villa. That was a team. When they would break from 2008 on and go their separate ways for major tournaments, Xavi and Iniesta and David Villa and all those Spanish guys from Barca were winning tournaments. 3 in a row. Euro 2008, World Cup 2010, Euro 2012. Good math. Messi, the second he steps on a field without that core, is average. And you have seen it in Copa Americas. You have seen it in World Cups. He's now gone 675 straight minutes without scoring a World Cup goal because Xavi's not there, because Iniesta's not there, because David Villa's not there. And the best players I've ever seen in my life can play with anybody. Cristiano Ronaldo can play with any. Michael Carrick sucks. Darren Fletcher sucks.
Why is stabbing Michael Carrick?
I'm making a point. I'm making a point that Ronaldo didn't have Xavi. Ronaldo didn't have Iniesta. Zinedine Zidane could play with anybody. And he did it constantly at Juventus, for France, Real Madrid, scoring in the final at Hampden Park in Scotland. He could play with any. Ronaldo, fat Ronaldo from Brazil, could play with anybody and win. That's greatness. That's a GOAT. That's a guy you respect. Fraud.
So Biag, I have to disagree with what he said. Okay, he is a Portuguese. Okay, I just want to get that.
All right.
So for me, he's a little bit biased when he's talking about Messi because obviously he's compared to Ronaldo, and a lot of people would say Ronaldo is the greatest of all time over Messi. Now, for me, I look at the comparison between the two, and I would take Messi over Ronaldo for many reasons, but we won't get into that. Ronaldo, when he was at Manchester United, he had a bunch of good players. Okay, Van Nistelrooy. He wants to make fun of Michael Carrick, but there was plenty of world-class players when he was there. He goes to Real Madrid. He's got Modric, all these players, and yes, Messi does too. But internationally, Argentina have always struggled in terms of talent at certain positions. Defending is one of them.
But
midfield too. With Mascherano, not the greatest. And yeah, you know what? Ronaldo doesn't have the greatest midfield either at Portugal. But to say that Messi is a choker, I can't say that. He's been to tons of finals internationally, Copa America. He went to the World Cup final 4 years ago, in which he had a team that, it wasn't the greatest on paper, but it fought till the finals against Germany. And for him to say that he's a choker, I don't agree with him. Messi's one of the best in the world, and maybe he's not having the greatest tournament this year. It's got to do with waves of players too. You see Italy in 06, we had that great wave of players, right? Germany, they've had, Spain too. They had 2-3 waves, back when they won those Euros, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Argentina, like the same. That's how internationally it goes, right? Teams have waves of players. We see, Germany obviously struggling this year, so maybe their wave of player wasn't like it was 4 years ago. So.
Yeah.
Argentina doesn't, maybe, they don't have, that wave didn't come through yet, maybe young players. And, that's where I disagree with, like, even Portugal, they had a wave of players when Figo was there. So for me, I can't agree with what he said. It's false. I think he's a little bit biased being,
he's Portuguese?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's
okay.
Portuguese.
I thought it was Italian.
No.
I to a certain extent I can disagree, but some parts I can agree with him because the thing is Messi has such a strong team around him, and it just not like defensively, but look, you compare the two sides. Messi on paper should be soaring through this competition. He has such a star-studded team around him. He's got Aguero, Higuain, Dybala, Di Maria, and some of these names that I've mentioned, unfortunately, they're on the bench. I don't know why, but they are. But that's the thing. it all it all comes down to what like everyone has their own opinion on who's better, Messi or Ronaldo, but it all comes down to the games. People look at the games. Uh, Messi has scored so many goals in his time. The one time he screws up, that's what people are gonna look at. Everyone knows you for your greatest, but the one time you screw up, people are just gonna make that the highlight of your career. When you miss that penalty against Iceland, it's gonna come back to haunt, and people are gonna, it's gonna reach the media and stuff, and that little shove he gave to Strinic, like it doesn't help. He needs to like build up the attitude. I don't know, something has to click in his mind. The coach, it comes down to this final game against Nigeria. If they don't do it, they're out of the World Cup. And to have a team like that, and like if they lose to Nigeria, even if they tie, to come out to have a team like that and come out of the and like get eliminated from competition, only pulling away with 1 or 2 points is very very sad to your country. Honestly, I think Nigeria is going to beat them just because if they don't pick up this morale and they keep playing the way they played their first 2 games, they're easily going to be eliminated from this competition, no matter who they play.
Yeah, I think they got to pick it up from what they did the last game. I'll tell you that real fast, and they got to, move on. And I think Argentina they wrap. I think they win maybe 1-0, 2-0 against Nigeria. They didn't look too good against Croatia. They obviously beat Iceland, who looked a little shaky at times.
Even
But
Iceland, I wasn't impressed with that one too. I was
yeah,
shocked.
yeah, yeah. So was I actually. I didn't expect Nigeria to come out flying the way they did. As for Group E, Biage, Brazil, Switzerland tied at 4 points. Serbia with 3 points. Did you any shock
Oh,
here?
just wanted to add one last thing to the Group D.
Yeah,
The one thing I believe, like why Nigeria will do better than Argentina now and beat them, is because look now they've won this game. They're pumped. They realize now they're like, okay, we get this draw, we're through.
we're through. Yeah,
Depending on how Iceland do, but a win will secure them the spot. Like that's what you need. You need the morale to be up.
which it is right
Both,
now
yeah, I
after
know
that W
exactly.
against thing, right?
Both teams have a chance of making it. The reason Nigeria have more likely, it's all the attitude. It's the build up to the game. You've been playing like not very good these past 2 games. You're not going to play well, and it showed against Croatia. After that, the upset against Iceland, that morale they didn't put that in the past. They held on to it and brought it into the next game, and that's the problem. But
Hmm.
let's not just keep talking about Group D. Let's move on to what you said about Group E.
Mhm.
Brazil, 2 stoppage time goals to take it away from Costa Rica. Costa Rica's out. Their road is over, even though in 2014 they had a pretty good road to the World Cup. This one, not very good. Before we start talking about games, I want to get your opinion on Shaqiri and Chaka, their celebrations. Believes the Eagle something to do with Albania, and then Serbia now they want to press charges because his boots had the flag of Kosovo because that's where Shaqiri was born. Has a bunch of stuff to do with Yugoslavia and because deep hatred when they separated and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So what's your opinion on that?
I think when it comes to sports, Biage, I think politically, you got to leave that off the field.
Yeah,
Okay. We've seen it in the NFL with, taking a knee and, a whole
yeah,
bunch of other things that went down that last season. I think when it comes to political beliefs, I think you just got to leave it at home. When you're on the field, um, you know, their celebration was harmless, but um,
yeah. But some people might take it the wrong way.
that's exactly what it
Yeah,
is, right? So, don't do it at all, and whatever you believe in, you talk that amongst yourselves, with your siblings, your partners, whatever. But when you're on the field, I think you gotta unfortunately be politically correct, and you gotta, you know, leave any beliefs or any gestures or anything like that. Just leave it at home. It's the World
yeah,
Cup. We want to see the beautiful game like we've been watching the last 2 weeks. That's my opinion. Just leave it at
yeah,
home, play football. They scored 2 big goals for their
yeah.
country,
That
and
last minute goal too.
yeah.
And it's
So
all the heat of the moment. It's all part of
that's what it is
the heat
too.
of the
I think.
moment. Like
Yeah.
you score an amazing goal at the World Cup. People remember it. Like the player himself, they'll say, it was just a great experience, but like the moment you like your moment of spotlight, those 10, 15 seconds we could celebrate, it's gone very quickly. So you got to make it count. But when you have the heat of the moment, everything's just happening. You just do it. There's no
Yeah.
going back. You can't hit the rewind button. I
No,
mean,
I
you
know.
got
And
those
that
10 seconds when you
yeah,
score. You got to make it
that's what
count.
it is.
That's what how it is. The
I
heat of the
think
moment.
that that goal is like a sign of relief
Yeah.
from being, for his country and for, the the length of the goal and like how much it meant for them in the group
Oh
stage,
yeah.
right? So, like you
Pull it
said,
off
it
in
happens
that.
in the heat of the moment, but leave it at home. They got a big win.
So
Um,
they look likely to go through the group stage because they were able to uh, keep a clean record. No losses so far for Switzerland. They were
mhm.
able to do it against Brazil. They tied. They beat Serbia, who have a very strong team, and now they face Costa Rica, who are already out. They haven't been playing well. They played well, but
I say Switzerland tops this group,
yeah,
Biatch.
yeah. Because
I
now
think.
Serbia they're furious about this game. I think they'll go all out. They're gonna beat Brazil 6 points. Switzerland move up. They beat Costa Rica 7 points, and the way Brazil have been playing, they're good. They move the ball well, but you know, it's you have to take into consideration how the teams feel, the morale of the players, the fitness, and maybe Brazil might struggle against Serbia because Serbia they know this game is very important to them, and they might go full out.
Oh wow! So yeah, just as your upset of the tournament right here, be Brazil
Yeah,
eliminated
I
in the group stage.
honestly believe I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with me. I believe Brazil they're gonna get eliminated.
Hmm. Interesting. My prediction is I think Switzerland's going to struggle against Costa Rica,
All right.
and I see them at least tying, and then Brazil with a win over Serbia.
But
But
I think that sees them through to the next round, the tie for
yeah,
Switzerland.
yeah, it does. So, a good, bold prediction. I mean, they did struggle against Switzerland. They barely beat Costa Rica, despite what the score said. So, like I said, there's too many games here where it's like, is Germany going to go through? Is Sweden going through? Is Brazil going through? Is Argentina going through? And I think that there's going to be, an eventual upset in one of these groups where they're
Yeah,
not all going to go through, and someone, a big time club is going to go home after the group
yeah.
stage.
Like I said, there could be teams that hold on to the bad games and bring them on to the next one, or there could be teams like maybe Brazil might, push away the fact that this game makes it or breaks if they're gonna go through, and I still believe they're gonna get eliminated. But maybe they'll be like, look, Serbia is gonna be coming at us full force, but we can do this. We can get through to the next round, no matter what people say. Same thing for any team. This isn't just for them. This could be Argentina too. Not I believe I don't know if they're playing tomorrow, but it could be. It goes for any team in this tournament. Now I want also another a lot of stuff in the news going on, but about the VAR penalty that was almost given to Brazil, and that really bothered me because like the fact that a little swipe, and again it goes back to saying with the Griezmann one, but this time they got the VAR right, and they didn't give the penalty. It was a penalty initially, so it's kind of like the opposite of the
Hmm.
Griezmann penalty. But Neymar, man, like that penalty really bothered me. I would if I was the ref, I would give him a straight yellow for simulation.
Yeah, that was, my opinion. Like, what are you doing? Like, it was a little bit of like you're trying to sell it.
Swiped
Like,
him, yeah,
yeah, like, play football. That's why people, make fun of calcio and soccer and football, whatever you want to call it. In whatever country you're from, they make fun of us because,
yeah. They'd be like, soccer
oh,
players
these
are not
guys
really.
dive. Bring them to the swimming pool. Like, that's not the case.
It's
We're
certain players, but when you have like that can be like on highlight reels on TV, and it doesn't look good for the sport at all.
yeah. And that's what my opinion is. Like, don't.
Yeah,
It's for the sport, right? Do it for the sport, and he's
totally agree.
notorious for that, and that's why they didn't call it, right? And I
Yeah,
agree with the decision, and and we move on, right?
yeah. But in
Now
the
we go
end, it
to.
doesn't matter if the penalty happened. They conceded 2 goals, but yeah,
Yeah, they won, and that was it. Lucky, in my opinion. I thought that Costa Rica was going to hang on. Navas, man of the
yeah,
match, by a landslide. But they got the 3 points, and like you said, I could see an upset happening in this group. I totally can.
yeah.
Now we go to Group F. Mexico,
Wow.
get the needed win
Yeah.
they had to get,
Yeah.
and Germany with a come from behind win. Biage, what a game that was it not?
Oh my God.
Hold on, one sec. Hold on, one sec. Here we
Yeah.
go. Hold on.
Window of opportunity for Germany to earn a victory here. Kroos will go for it and score! An inspirational moment from Toni Kroos. Well, when they're down, when they are tested, they find a way to win.
What a goal!
That was an amazing goal.
What a screamer! That was.
I was reading something online about when Royce was next to Cruz, and apparently they were telling the original plan was to cross it in, and then Royce, before Cruz was about to take it, he's like, "Look, the Swedes, they have very tall players. There's no way we're gonna be able to win headers off them." So he's like, try a shot. It's a tight angle. That's what Cruz said, and Royce is like, "Just try your best and go for it." And my God, did he! That was a beautiful shot. And he got the win, because if Germany would have tied, or even if they would have tied, they technically had a chance. But look, Sweden, all they needed to do was tie against Mexico, and they would have both been through. So I think they would have taken it easy on each other and not do anything, because even if Germany would have won against South Korea, they would have been out, because Sweden and Mexico would have just needed a tie amongst each other, and they'd be like, okay, if we tie against each other, we're both through. So that could happen. But now I know that now match day 3, there's no games, one after the other. They're side by side to keep everything, fair and everything. So now Mexico isn't safe at all. There's still a small chance, because if Germany beats South Korea, they'll be at 6 points. Sweden beats Mexico, because Sweden now they need the win now
Yeah, they need a W.
to stay alive. They'll be at 6 points, and now it comes down to goal differential. So Mexico are still not safe, so they need to play for the tie. Or South Korea, the World Cup this year looks like there's a lot of upsets. So maybe South Korea, they're playing for pride and may cause a bit of damage to Germany's journey through this World Cup.
For me, when you look at that goal, okay, I'll bring back that goal again.
Yeah.
I know how you said, I heard the same thing, how they wanted to cross it. They were going back and forth. In my opinion, I think as much of a screamer it was, and the way it curled, and I watched it maybe 20 times on replay for how, the passion when they score, and, it brings back the glory days. Yeah, for Italy, when Del Piero scored that goal, and, and so on and so forth. For me, it was goaltending too. When you're a goalie and the positioning of I think he was totally out of position. Okay, I'm a goalkeeper myself, and I know it was a tight angle, but Biage, if you watch the replay again, he's at his first post. Okay,
all right.
In no reason should he be at his first post or closer to his first post, because if the ball goes over your head, there's no way you're going back. Okay, there's no way your feet are fast enough to move that fast to get to that far post. For me, the proper position as a goalkeeper, and by all means, I'm no professional, but you got to be on your back post. Okay, you got to be closer to the back post like he was at the front post. That way, a ball like that doesn't go in. Okay, because it's easier to run forward than it is to run backwards as a goalkeeper in the box. So, as much of a nice goal that was, it was poor goaltending. And another thing, if they were going to cross it, why is he on his first post? You're going to position yourself in the middle of the net, right? If you're expecting a cross. So I think, I'm not taking any credit away of the goal. He's got to be in better position. And he played a fantastic game. And, everybody was getting mad. I think, the player who got the foul or took the foul, he was receiving death threats, I heard, and, so on and so
I didn't
forth.
hear about that.
He was. I heard on social media back and forth. It's football, and things like that happen. But
It's
for
common.
me, yeah. But for
an
me,
example could be like what happened with the Sporting players, that like a bunch of them terminated their contracts while they were doing cardio. They got at the training grounds. They got attacked by their own fans.
yeah, I saw that.
You
Marcus
they don't.
Acuna was one of them who was interested
Like that's
for Lazio. Yeah.
that's what what players don't need when they don't need to stress.
Yeah.
Like obviously they could stress about games, but they don't want to stress about, if I'm playing this game, this could affect my family's life. It's a reality in football that we have to accept. It's dangerous, has to do with money and stuff like that.
Yeah. Mhm.
But the death threats, it's kind of sad. It's really
Yeah, it
sad
is.
to see it like.
But it was a beautiful goal. Like I said, I think it was a little bit of bad positioning from the goalkeeper. But Germany got the 3 points they needed. They
Yeah.
sit second in the group now comfortably. I
Even
think.
with the red card, which for
Yeah, with
Boateng was a
Boateng's red
stupid,
card, I know
stupid.
playing down, very reckless in my opinion. Was
But
that a
they
penalty
played.
shot though, Biaj?
Which one? Wait.
The one
No,
yellow.
no.
Yeah, that's
Because
what I
look,
thought too.
a lot of people said it was a penalty, but after really looking at it, at first I was like, okay, that's a penalty. Why isn't why is he calling for
VAR.
defender VAR? Nothing.
Yeah.
But when you really look at it from the angle, like with just straight looking at their feet, Boateng steps in for the ball. He doesn't get the ball because the ball, veers more inside, so he doesn't get the ball. But because Berg, his foot is good. If he would have kept his foot straight where Boateng stepped in, their feet would have touched or collided. So what Berg did is he put his foot more inwards, which caused him to go off balance and fall. So it wasn't a
Mhm.
penalty at all. He stepped in. Berg got a little, he saw the foot. He
Yeah, he
put his
tried to
legs
draw
closer
the
together, and
foul.
he got
Yeah,
off balance. So it
yeah.
wasn't a foul at all. But
I said the
Germany, you had
same
to
thing.
see them. They were playing with one at the back. They were playing all out attack most of the game, even before Boateng got a second yellow, which is very stupid, and got a
Hmm.
red. The players, his teammates didn't even argue with the ref. It was a stupid way to leave the tournament. And, you're just bringing your team down. They're gonna have to fight with that, with a man down. But they got through it. So now, with that red card, he's gonna miss
He'll
their
miss next
important
game,
game.
but he'll play the game after because
Yeah, because South
there was
Korea, I
two
think they'll be
yellows.
able to beat. I don't think
Yeah,
they'll need. And as well as Max Hummels, he's out with a neck injury, so
yeah,
I
I
don't know
saw
how long
that.
he's going to be out.
Hmm.
But I think Rudiger did a good job at
Very good
back.
job. Yeah, he played
And
solid.
now there could be Ginter to replace him. He had an amazing season with Borussia Mönchengladbach. And
Hmm.
then there could be Sule as well, who they signed from Hoffenheim, I believe, to Bayern now. So, they have a lot of options, Germany, in that defense. New faces. They're still talented, but again, new faces because, as I said, national team is way different from club level, but it all depends now what they're going to put forward against South Korea.
Hmm. So as we go into the last group.
Oh, no, there's still two more. There's Group G and then H.
Oh yes, there was.
No, it's fine. H, I feel like H, some people can forget it. It's kind of I feel like it's sort
You
of
mean Group
a group
G?
that,
Oh yeah, there was two group. Oh yeah, I
yeah.
got ahead of
But I
myself.
feel like Group H is just someone that, if someone missed that group, I wouldn't blame them. It's a silent group. I don't know how to explain it, but it's not, it's easy to miss.
Yeah. So Biage, England 6 points, Belgium 6 points. Not much to talk about in this group. I think
Yeah, it's kind
it
of a quick
was.
one. This
Yeah,
is
it's
what
a.
I expected in Group B with Spain and Portugal going through.
Yeah, so did I.
This kind of fell into place in the favor of England and Belgium just because uh, had like if the games would have been similar to Group B, because look at Group B, the two best teams played each other right away, and the
Yeah.
weak ones played like that. So I feel like if England and Belgium would have faced off in the first game, which two strong teams, and then Tunisia and Panama, who are more of the weaker ones, would have faced off, and maybe I think Tunisia would have pulled away with the 3 points. They would have more confidence. They would pull an Iran. They would do just like Iran. It would be in the same situation. But now, just because of
The way
the
the
way the
groups
games have
played
been,
out and
so
such.
now
Yeah,
England and
agreed.
Belgium,
Yeah,
yeah,
good point.
Tunisia
Very
and
good
now
point.
Panama, they're out. Sadly, they're playing for pride, and now England and Belgium. It all comes down to, do they want to rest their players, or do they want to continue playing?
Yeah,
It all depends. Yeah.
I saw on Twitter, the English getting a little bit ahead of themselves, in my opinion. I mean,
Why? What did they do?
well, is this their year? Is this the time for, is
Now,
it
when
their.
I hear stuff like that, I know what you're talking about. When I hear stuff like that, I'm like, come on, you played Tunisia and Panama.
That's
They're not.
exactly what I said.
Yeah.
You played Panama, who plays in the CONCACAF with
And
Canada,
I
who
don't want
hasn't
to
made
take
the World
anything away
Cup
from
since
England.
Pessi
They played
Cilidio.
well. They played
Okay,
well. I
like,
don't want to take anything away
yeah,
from them.
yeah,
They played
no, I
well,
know.
but look, don't get, I don't want their head to get too big. They still have to play Belgium, which doesn't matter what the scoreline is, kind of, because it depends who they play in the knockout stage.
Around it, yeah.
Yeah, but they can't get their head too ahead of themselves. They have stronger teams to face in the knockout stage. This is nothing compared to, this is
I
like the
think.
same level as the qualifiers.
Well, I think it's good. I think for like England and Belgium that they played two weaker teams. I think they're at a disadvantage going into the.
It'll bring them down. For sure.
Yes, because of course they barely got by Tunisia, England, Panama they took out, Belgium same thing, but for me I think when you play two weaker teams going into now they play each other, which is a good stepping stone as where they are in terms of
to wake them up. Like,
yeah,
okay, this is
exactly,
this is the quality
right?
we need to maintain.
Exactly, right. But when you play two weaker teams like they did, I think you fall asleep, and okay, they play each other, but I think I would rather have a tougher group where you win and 1-0. You get the three, so you know where you're at in terms of in the tournament in terms of skill and so on and so forth, right?
Because this group, it's it was a group that everyone saw what was happening.
Yeah.
It was. I'm gonna say it was pretty boring. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching England versus Belgium, but it was a pretty boring group. The England-Tunisia game, that was one that really people were on their toes, like, whoa, wait, what's going on? England actually, and then they won.
Yeah,
But
the
Belgium,
last goal.
they blew through both of them.
Yeah.
England 6-1, like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, Tunisia. Wait, they played Panama. They played Panama.
Yeah, the last
Panama
game.
got a goal. Panama got a goal. As a consolation. Now they're playing for pride. I hear the commentators say it over and over for all the teams that are eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's up to Belgium and England. Do they want to, make their players adapt to the quality they need to bring to the games now in the knockout stage, or do they take it lightly, rest their players, and they'll be ready to face whoever they face if they go first or second? Because now this is their chance to take it lightly or take it seriously, because it all depends what
Exactly.
Southgate decides. And I believe there was also in the midst of the week before their second game, which would decide if they would go to the knockout stage or not. The lineups got leaked where Sterling was not there. Rashford was taking his place. It was a whole thing where photographers found one of the assistants with the team paper in his hand. I don't think it really matters, considering you're playing Tunisia and Panama, but some people might care.
Yeah, exactly. Biaj, now we go to the final group in what was a shocking turn of events for Poland, in which we thought they were the group favorites with Colombia.
Yeah, I thought they were going to top the group.
Oh, so did I. Now you look at the group, the two teams that were supposed to be at the top are now at the bottom, and the two teams that were supposed to be at the bottom are now at the top.
Yeah.
So, Japan, a tie over Senegal.
Big respect to them. They played pretty good. There was a good fight between each other.
Yeah.
So now they're balanced. Colombia, well, they just Poland, man.
Yeah.
They
walked through Poland.
I feel that just like Argentina, that loss against Senegal, they just held on to it. I don't know what was going on. I was watching that game. They got outplayed by Colombia. That third goal was a beauall through ball.
Oh, what a ball by Rodriguez.
Cuadrado had three guys around him, and none of them did anything. They just couldn't catch on to him. And all three goals, Szczesny had no chance.
No chance. And what I found weird was when I went on FootMob, which is an app on the iPhone that, you see all the games, he had like a 4.5 rating. I'm like, how do you rate a goalie who had no chance on any of the goals? He was let out to dry.
Nah. That's not his fault.
Yeah.
Now, where do you go from here? They played so well at the Euro, and then they underperformed like this. Wow, you saw the fans' faces. They were just
in disbelief. Mm-hmm.
Now Colombia, they have a chance. It's not over for them.
No.
I believe they play Senegal their last match.
Yes,
so this is very important. Japan, again, lots of credit to them. They still have a chance of getting eliminated. Who do you think goes through after this final match day?
I think I'm going to give it to Japan and Colombia. I think Colombia, the only reason why they're sitting at third right now is because that stupid red that was given in the first game. Well, it was, a red's a red.
Yeah, because he put out his hand.
Bonehead mistake. But, if they don't play a man down in that first game, I see them beating Japan comfortably. But again, that didn't happen. It ended in a tie. So, Japan now play Poland, which I think they could pick up a tie. And then I see Colombia just, rolling over Senegal, in my opinion. I see maybe a 2-0 victory for the Colombians. And they jump to first, Japan second. I think Senegal, they played a great game today against Japan. Back and forth. And I see Colombia topping the group and Japan sitting at second. What do you think, Biagio? What do you think?
I think that Japan there's a chance that they might screw up because it's not like other groups. It's not like the Germany's group where the team that's already eliminated, I mean, you look at them, you're like, okay, this is not a strong team. Let's go into this 100%. Let's get the win no matter how weak the team is. But Poland, look, you can look at them and you'd be like, okay, look, they're eliminated for sure, but they're still a strong team.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you can look at them like the other groups, and you can be like, because their morale is so shot down, and they played bad their 2 games. Their attitude on the field could bring them down to the level as most of the teams that are already out. So it all depends how they approach this game. Do Poland play for pride so much that they shock the headlines, and even though they're eliminated, they bring someone down with them? It could possibly happen.
Mm-hmm.
And now we all have to see what happens Matchday 3. This is going to be so exciting. Now there's no schedule where it's like, okay, this game. Now it's side by side, so I'm going to have to find a way to stream 2 games at the same time.
Once.
I really
exactly.
I really want to see these games happen. This is going to be an exciting week for everyone.
Mm-hmm. So tomorrow we're going to close out the Group A and B, of course. Uruguay, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Iran, Portugal, Spain, Morocco, and the list continues through the 26th of June, 27th of June. Biaj, it was nice having you on as usual. Guys, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at the INT Break, as well as myself at AZZURO14_, as well as Biaj at Biagio Aversano. You guys could look us up on the YouTube as well, the International Break. Biaj, nice having you on.
You too.
We'll see you
Matchday 3.
Yep. In hopefully an exciting fashion as Matchday 1 and 2 were. Thanks for listening, everyone. Ciao, Biaj. We'll talk soon.